agenda approved or something like that.
Move to approve the agenda.
Do you move to approve the agenda?
Second.
Or is there, I don't remember. Okay, Frank, would you like,
Would you like to vote on that?
do we want to vote on it?
We probably should.
Yes.
Okay. Frank would like it if we did.
Yeah.
Okay.
I make a
He's very
motion that we
particular about
approve
that. We'll get some.
Well, we've got a motion and a
Meeting.
second to approve the agenda, we just need to vote.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the agenda is approved.
Gives Frank more time to get the
Yeah.
stuff down.
Fill in the blank.
Okay, and then we will look at the minutes of the previous meeting from April 15th, 2014. Are there any changes or corrections on the minutes?
I move we accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes of the previous meeting, April 15th, 2014 are approved.
Did Stacy say you couldn't come?
I just talked to him on the phone an hour ago. Told him I was planning to be, he asked me if I planned on being here, and I told him I planned on being here.
But he didn't say if he was coming
He's,
or not?
I mean, I told him I was gonna give him something when he was here.
So you assumed he was coming?
And he said, okay.
Well, I guess we can.
I noticed he was coaching T-ball, or baseball, so I wonder if it didn't get over to with till right at 6:30, so he's probably gonna be right on the lane.
So,
That would be my guess.
so we could skip from his up to the,
I just saved his to last.
okay, so update on North Fifth Street.
That's Sunwise.
Is that the one? That is Sunrise.
The only new information I have to report there is that I have learned that it will probably only cost about $1,200 to do an inspection. If I had my computer not crashing right now, I could give you more specifics.
That's an asbestos inspection.
Yes.
That's pretty
That's
good,
good.
it's not a lot better than we thought.
The inspection is likely going to see that your biggest problem, the biggest problem is going to be the cork board that exists behind on one of the walls in particular.
In the basement.
Yeah. So, the anticipation is that the result will find asbestos, and we just need to be prepared for that.
So just a small area?
Yes, of course, testing will be necessary, official testing will be necessary to know for sure, but it sounds like it sounds like at least from the preliminary questions asked, our biggest concern will be one particular wall.
So it should be.
Who owns that building?
The gentleman's name is Ken Papp.
He was my history teacher.
Say that again?
Does he live here in town?
He doesn't.
Not anymore.
In 2007, I think he was convicted of something or other and did a little time perhaps, and I think he either lives in Ames or Des Moines now.
So we're just waiting for the inspection. Is that the next step?
Well, kind of. The next step for me, I'm gonna go get some estimates for how much it would cost to tear it down, and do a little communication with the DNR about the order that we want to do things in order to qualify for the grant. There is a component of brownfield that reimburses us for asbestos inspection and removal. But if we do that before if we don't make that part of the process, then they won't. So we can't just go get it done.
They did open things up a little bit better. It used to be, up until about a year and a half ago, that if you wanted to apply for these grants, the property had to be in the possession of the city prior to applying. Well, they finally realized that system wasn't really working, and we ran into that with the Winchell building, in fact. And since then, they have now changed the law that, or the grant, that now if the city is intending to obtain the property, that is sufficient enough for application to the grant.
And is he willing to turn it over to the city?
Well, we pretty much, to be all
You're
honest,
gonna-
can nearly force that hand.
That hand, it wouldn't,
Yeah,
it really isn't
um,
his option anymore.
Correct. One of the parts of the court order required him to legally clean up the property. I believe
And he
it's
didn't
point
do
three
any of
of the 4 points on the court order. He was able to show financial destitute, incapable of paying for the cost associated with cleaning up the property. So he's basically, through his actions in courts, already admitted that one,
He's
it
never
needs to
gonna
be
do it.
cleaned up, and two, he has no indication of an anticipation to clean it. That should be significant enough justification for us to go in and take action to take possession of the property.
But we haven't
If
done
or
anything
when-
on that.
No.
What kind of a timeline will that take to complete that legal process?
I would say it wouldn't take long at all.
Not too
Oh,
long,
really?
okay.
I suspect if we contacted Mr. Papp, he would be happy to sign a quick clean deed.
Sign.
That would be much easier.
Cool.
He'd
So
probably
you
be
won't
looking
have
for a pin.
The grant is due on February 18th, or the grant application is due on February 18th. There's some components to this grant that we're probably gonna have to consider. The part of the grant, it's a competitive grant, and part of it is that we have an end game with this property, something we're gonna do with it, not just tear it down and make it blank. I don't know if we want to discuss at length what we want to have the property end up being, or if we want to open it up and have some sort of community vision meeting to just take people's ideas about it, what we might want to put there after the property is torn down. That's going to be a piece that we need to put in the application, what our plans are. They said there were a couple different levels of, this is the DNR, said there were a couple different levels of things we could do that would make it more competitive than other things. Something like a, not just a parking lot, but some sort of green space or welcome area to town would put us above just merely turning it into parking, put us ahead of the game.
They put parking lots as the lowest for funding points.
And that's kind of the cheapest thing and kind of the most needed thing, probably passing this around.
Is there anything in the building that could be recycled? I know that Early did a big DNR project, and because they could recycle something,
Well,
they gave them an advantage also.
It doesn't look like there is any asbestos attached to the blocks,
You have another copy.
and that could be turned into riprap. There's a process for that.
Look out over here.
We were looking at that when we were looking, because originally with the Winchell building, we were planning to apply for this grant money. And because the timeline kind of got set the way it was and everybody was pushing it when they were, we never applied. But one of the elements we were looking into was there is a process, even if it had asbestos on it, there is a process to reclaim that, crush it, the city would then keep it for future use. So, yeah. And that's how you also meet your percentage element of keeping things out of the landfill.
Out of landfill. Because I know Early did it.
Yeah, that's how they were able to justify
Justify their
theirs,
big old building that they
is through that
took down.
process.
So the minimum to apply is, I think we need to reclaim 30% of it. And if we can reclaim 81%, I think 81%, then we would be able to get $25,000 more in grant money for
And that's
for
by
tearing.
weight.
By the way.
And you have to have somebody committed to using this stuff, right? Is that what you have to do?
We
That's
could-
what
we could-
Early actually had everybody lined up to use this stuff.
You don't necessarily.
Maybe, we could
need to
just, we could
keep
just have it in
keep
a storage
on
place,
land.
if we're talking about riprap, for instance. And that would be a significant portion of the weight of the building.
I would think so.
Let's see, is there anything else that happened? That's everything that's happened since the last time we met. what do you guys think about, a community visioning meeting at some point to start getting ideas for putting in the grant? What we can do with it?
I think it's a good idea. We're starting to see a little more involvement, like with the survey they just did, they had 332 responses to the survey, which is good. It's triple what they had on the one they did a couple years ago. So, and we, right there in the chamber coffee, the chamber's been, you know, what could we do to Sac City to make it remarkable? And we just had collected some, and people have some great ideas, so.
Are they gonna like print off something about that and let people read it?
July
July
29th, there'll be a special meeting at the city where Blue Space will present their results. I don't know if some of us involved will get advanced summaries, but as of right now, that's the best I know, is that we'll have the full results from them on July 29th.
Okay. Okay.
So it's probably gonna be up to us to plan a community visioning if we're gonna, really don't wanna delay filling out the grant application too much. It goes every year, so there's no problem if we go slow and take until 2016, but if we have the opportunity to start getting this thing going in 2015, that would be great.
And it probably would help the grant to say that we did, that it was, you know, that we did have a community visioning meeting to establish what we thought would be a good idea and all that. I'm sure that would help the grant too.
It would show them that
We're not just making up stuff.
Right. So I suppose we should
Do
probably.
you need to make a motion or anything like that about a community vision meeting?
Well, it seems like we should probably have it on like the next agenda so we can start planning it. Or if we come to a decision about when it will be, so we can vote on it. Is everybody ready to plan something like that in June?
Will you still? Yeah, we can.
How many evenings you're gonna have free?
Somebody's gonna have to come up with some structure, because you can't just have a meeting and say, we're gonna. You gotta do something.
5 to 6 nights.
It won't work, you won't get anything unless you.
So are we talking, when we say
Structure.
community vision meeting, are we talking about trying to invite people from the community into
Yes.
this meeting?
Yes.
Or is this our P and Z meeting doing it, or is that, you mean the whole community, right?
Well, we
Like
could have it with a planning and zoning.
Publish it kind of that this is something we're gonna discuss.
It seems like if we just call it community visioning and not have it be a planning and zoning meeting, it might seem sexier to people on the show.
More inviting. Sexy.
Yeah, I don't think they wanna come to our planning and zoning meeting, you know what I mean? I think Kurt's right, I think people would think it's, oh, they're gonna do something different.
If we're all gonna be there, we should still post notice in the
That
job.
we're,
My brain crap.
nothing to say we couldn't have it the night of our meeting and then have our meeting.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Do it and then have our meeting afterwards or whatever, or the time periods and stuff. And we only have to do it once, but we probably need some kind of structure if we're gonna, rather than just pick a date and say, come show up, we probably need to have some idea of what we want to happen at that meeting.
Well, if we were to plan the visioning meeting in June and then have the visioning meeting in July, that would give us plenty of time for the application to get that done. There would have to be no rush. We wouldn't have to meet right afterwards to ratify a decision.
And it gives you some time to put out the information at the meetings that take place.
Right.
Yeah, but you gotta figure it's gonna take you 2 months to put together the application. You're probably gonna wanna get letters of support, you're probably gonna wanna get certain other elements in place.
Okay, well, we'll put that on the agenda then for next time. And I guess we'll come for ideas.
Think about the structure of how we want it to go.
Yeah.
So we can we have an idea. Somebody's gonna have to run it, somebody's gonna have to have a, you know, like, and how we're gonna do it.
Okay, do we want to go back to Stacy for some updates?
Well, I hand out a list to everybody here of the building permits we've done this month, April, May, between the last meeting and now. It's pretty much just been some fences, a garage, a couple decks. There's a few other things that are, a couple others that just came in as well. As far as action being taken, there's 3 people out of all the letters that I had sent out, people that I did not hear anything from. That'd be Darcy Dearson, Brian Gakey, and Doug and Mary Brock. And I believe on bottom there you'll see the Scott Schaefer, that's a house over here next to Animal Health. Someone told me that he recently purchased that or moved in over here, so looking to see if something improves with that. House down there behind the Freedom Rock, Mary Greeley, I spoke with her this month as well.
Yeah, that's good.
See that they're
They're
getting that done,
That's good.
so that's pretty much it.
That
Building
one-
permit season.
That one on West Main looks like a tree limb's falling down on that.
The one
pickup
over here?
that's Sitting, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was told somebody bought that, so.
I went by there, was it yesterday, and the door on the left side looks like it's off of the hinges.
Yeah, it
just
was.
like-
I seen that it was, but that was prior to this guy moving in.
It still is, unless he just,
I'm gonna have to go out and make contact with him.
There was a great big limb by that, house that's next to Laura Zimmerman.
Oh, yeah,
Cabin
that's,
there.
that's, the
That's
guy
the
that
one
owns that
where-
is in prison.
Is that the one where the
Somebody
daughter-
had-
somebody moved in?
A woman was
and she
Woman
was-
moved out, yeah.
Yeah, there's a big old tree. It's about half a tree in the front yard now.
Oh, gosh.
At least it's easy to serve them in prison. Know where they're at.
Shannon Dusenberry.
So is there nothing we can do with that property if the guy's in prison, I mean, if the owner's in prison? What do we do? What,
Consult Colin. What I'm
About
what you're
what you-
likely gonna
what you
have to
can
do
do.
is either, you'll have to, I mean,
because Laura's,
serve notice there, or, there is scenarios where you can do public service, but that all is a legal procedure that will have to be followed through with Colin. Stacy will have to talk to Colin about that process.
because I know Laura's will be showing up on our doorstep soon if we don't do anything. Well, she will. So we probably need to start that process for that property.
So what is that with tree limbs falling? I mean, is there something that, I guess that's just each person's.
I guess I had some fall, but I picked them up.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It is
That's
much.
what most
The
people.
One fell on my car.
The only city ordinance pertaining anything about trees in your yard is that we actually have a tree ordinance that states that if there is imminent danger being presented by your tree onto your neighbor's property, the city, not P and Z, the city can require you to take action on that. Now, it has been instructed to me that imminent danger doesn't mean it's rotted out and it's up there. It has to be a hanging limb or something of that nature. I mean, it has to be a true.
Ready to fall, truly leaning over after the
Immediate,
rain or
truly
something like
dangerous
that.
event.
so just laying in the yard, though, is it
Isn't
going to
a
be a
danger.
problem to?
That would
any-
neither violate
neighbor?
anything I'm aware of in P and Z or the city code. I'll throw some termites in it and then we can call it infestation.
There we go.
Well, the house has lots of problems anyway, but the tree limb is in the front yard.
What about that one group that, isn't there that group that cleans up yards?
CIA.
Citizens
Yeah.
action.
Maybe they can
Yeah,
get
be
out
something
there.
good. Chansma could do some of the juveniles. He does the tracking for up this way on the juveniles that get in trouble. Might be something I could
Community
suggest to him,
service.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. At least they it would
Maybe
be
we
laying
get some
there
of
if
the
there's
city guys to
nobody.
go out with them, and maybe have them get out and throw them in the truck or whatever.
Yeah.
Or chomp it up. I mean, the one over there is big.
You can mention that to him then, maybe?
I will.
Okay. Is there any other comments or anything on the,
So most of the other people are taking action on your
Yeah,
letters?
They are that I've seen.
Okay.
Yeah, there's stuff being done. Or they had called and said they will be doing things.
I guess we just have to make sure
Just-
we
just- yeah,
track
just have
along
to-
and make sure they are doing something.
Are we still generating the report that indicates what step along we are with each property?
Yes.
what's new with that White House on the corner on Hobb Street where they wanted to maybe buy it and make it into a garage?
1,400 hubs.
I'm unaware of where he's at with that. He was gonna join them two properties in
He,
two lots.
he came in to see me, Stacy, and notified me he was no longer interested in the property.
He's not. Who does own that now?
But they never notified me he was no longer interested in the property. I wanted to believe it was a Wirtjes, but I'm not.
Yeah, I thought it was,
Yeah,
I
has
thought it was
worked
a
there,
Wirtjes.
1,400 hogs. There's so many on hogs. I'll have it. Okay. Moving on. Spring cleanup. Curtis
Okay.
Blaze, give us an update.
Well, we met and bashed out a press release and our rules and put it all out. We discussed that last month. Since then, we ran into a slight roadblock. Vicky Strouth, one of the subcommittee members, brought up maybe we want to somehow have donations to the prize fund be tax deductible. And so put the brakes on and started researching that. I approached the Sac Community Foundation, and at a meeting Thursday morning, they tentatively approved our being our receiving agent for donations, as long as the city auditor cleared our ability to put out funds to a single person who would be a winner. This is where I'm gonna let Adam take over and
What the state code basically said, the foundation has certain policies in place that they cannot hand the money out to an individual. Well, the city has rules in place that says that you can, and well, the state has rules for the city in place that says that you can't gift things. Unless, and this is where the caveat comes in, it's for an identifiable and valid public purpose. Well, what's an identifiable and valid public purpose? So we asked the auditor how the auditor felt about this money being transferred from the foundation to the city so then it could be funded out to the prize winners. And the auditor's response to us was that that is always, of course, a gray area matter on anytime you're doing these type of things. And she didn't have a strong feeling for or against it, and she notified us that we should contact our city attorney. In the end, it would be the auditor that would write us up for doing something inappropriate. Her position basically was, if your city attorney was for it, she wasn't going to write us up for it. So I contacted the city attorney this morning, after getting this email back from her this morning. I explained the situation to him, and he saw no issue with it, no objection to it. So, in essence, that process has been green-lighted.
So the good news is with the green light, the Sac Community Foundation has also donated the first $250 to us for the prize.
Oh,
And we can start putting out little news digests or press release blurbs about that to try and get people excited. Another thing the subcommittee came up with was the concept of flyer in each house notifying them that we're having this contest. We didn't discuss this as a subcommittee. I thought, since the subcommittee met, that maybe instead of us going house to house flyering, we could see if we could participate with the city's utility bill. What do you call it?
The newsletter that's
The
in there.
newsletter. But I haven't followed up on that because I wanted to bring it to you guys, see what you thought first.
Just a note on that, since you brought it up. Our quarterly newsletter takes up the additional added space. What I'd recommend you do is the flyer be an addition page during a
Okay.
non-month. That way, it doesn't get lost in the newsletter. I mean, it's its actual own individual fold-in.
So when's the next opportunity we have for an empty utility envelope?
The best thing for you to do is go in and ask Dee Dee that question.
Okay.
We send them out in the months of April, July, what would that be, October, January? I think that's how it works. January, April, July, and October. I think that's when the 4 of them go out. Which means for us to stuff it into the envelopes, it would have to be into us at least a month in advance of when we planned on mailing the bill out. So if the bill is...
A month before you mail it out?
Yeah. Or
Why
a
a
month
month?
before.
It's gonna be over.
Like,
Yeah.
we get our bills on like the 15th, so.
What I would suggest you do is just go ahead and make them up, fold them up, and hand them to Dee Dee and say the next time this can go, just stuff them in and let them go. Rather than to try to fight over what month you can do it and what month you can't do it, just hand them to her and say the next time you don't have something going in the bills, stuff this in with the bills and let her do it. It means it may sit there for 45 days before it goes out, but I can sit here and tell you when we send them out, when she needs them. You need to talk to Dee Dee, find out when she wants them.
How many do we have to make?
1,100.
1,100 is generically the number.
Yeah. The chamber's gonna come back and talk about that again.
We're seeing a lot more organizations use it, so it's starting to become more and more difficult to find a free month. The library used it 1 month, we used it for our
But you can put up to
survey.
5 pieces of paper in there with your stamp. So an envelope is a piece of paper. I went and checked on all this. An envelope's a piece of paper. You can have 4 other pieces and still be under your
Which you've got,
stamp
which
cost.
you've got the extra envelope, you've got the bill itself.
Right, that's 2.
So in essence,
You got 3 other pieces of paper that.
no,
go on
there's
the
2
envelope.
envelopes. You have the one envelope on the outside and the envelope on the
Envelope
inside.
on the outside that doesn't count. You can put inside
Oh.
it 5 pieces of paper.
Okay.
So, I checked.
We weigh them at the office when we
So.
do them.
Can we use city resources for that? Those pieces of paper? In printing?
Now, if you get color, I will growl, but as long as you don't mind doing it in black and white, I don't care if you even put it on colored paper. I just don't want to use colored ink.
Okay.
We don't use much colored ink, so our contract for colored ink is relatively expensive.
I have a question, going back to, I'm on the committee, but I guess I wasn't aware of this. Okay, so we went through all that about giving the gift for a person, and I can't remember what our whole thing was. Did we decide on just one winner,
We decided that there would,
or just depending on how many will sign up?
I have got it written down, give me a second. I'll review it quick.
But we're gonna donate the $200 that's approved by the SAC Foundation,
250?
250. But then, so are we still going to the businesses to see if they wanna donate any prizes, or is that?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why we're going through getting it, it'd be tax deductible, so that it's more enticing.
I mean, but don't most businesses anyway know that if they give something, that when they do taxes or whatever, they.
The only thing I would say to that is a lot of people have a misunderstanding that if they donate things directly to a governmental body, it is not tax deductible. You know, particularly one area where we run into that quite a bit is if they want to donate to the P&Z committee, they want to donate to the city, or they want to donate to the library. If you donate something to the library, it's not tax deductible. If you donate it to the Friends of the Library or the Library Foundation, it's tax deductible. That's why those organizations exist, is you create those scenarios.
So us donating it to, having them donate to a winner, the person, they're doing it to us.
They're
because we're
donating to the
giving it them.
foundation,
They're donating
earmarked for this project. Then the city will
Makes this
request the
difficult.
money from the foundation
Donation
to then outpour to the prize winners. Blame Arnie, he part of the Fed.
Arnie?
Like somebody with a little more authority than I have.
So, we'll have I guess we'll have a subcommittee meeting and we'll figure out the flyer. And we'll, find a free thing with D to get those put out.
Then there's gonna be, one winner and then a runner-up.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right, I was looking that up.
What's really sad is I've seen several people in the community working on their yard. And it's like, oh my gosh, you didn't even call and, you know, because it was in the paper, I suppose, what, that one time?
One winner.
Because that one guy,
One
one winner,
winner.
that one guy on Main Street, I saw him doing things on his steps, he's got little bushes planted. That other gal on Main Street, that cream and pink house, she's got cute decorations on her little step and a little dresser sitting out on the side. And I even said, hey, did you take a before picture? You need to get signed up for the.
Well, the way I see this, year one, there might be a person who enters, and that would be awesome.
A person, there might be a person.
Year two, maybe 3 people enter. If we keep this up, it'll hopefully have
That's true, if you get it.
a larger effect over time when you find the town.
Because I haven't gotten any calls, have you gotten any emails or Facebook things or?
No.
But like I said, we only did it the one time, so once we get it out there again.
Well, yeah, we kind of put the brakes on to figure out the tax deductible portion. Now we can start moving forward again.
Huh?
It was a good idea.
Probably gonna be a
And
question somebody's gonna ask me.
You know, everybody's looking for some kind of deduction.
well, no, it's good you thought of it. Because now we're this much further ahead. Now we've got a relationship with the SCF and they've given us $250.
They need to do something.
I don't think we can be in it though, darn it.
So does anybody have any other questions about the beautification contest?
Great idea.
All right, well, that's all I got on that.
Do we want to put some posters out in some, like, food pride and other stuff?
Oh, yeah, we're gonna put those up in businesses. We'll still do that. We'll be part of the flyer. The next time the 3 of us meet as a subcommittee, we'll.
My son sent my computer down, set up off for me.
And I haven't figured out how to use mine yet, because it's Windows 8 and it's very confusing. And I can't find my email. Like, where's my email? When he was doing stuff to it, I saw it briefly, but now I don't know where it went.
You have MSN?
It has MSN on it.
Okay, I had trouble with the website for license lists. It's
And
MSN.
I can't get into Google, and I Googled before. I don't know. Anyway. And I don't trust the people that did it now. 'Cause I think they're full. But anyway. Supposedly got a brand new computer, but I've never seen one all scratched up and beat up like that and be brand new, but
Where'd you get that at?
down here.
I built you one. I built you one.
Now you tell me.
Do that, thanks.
Well, you used to work there, I didn't think.
Yeah.
But you still do it on the side? I didn't know that. Well, next time I'll go to you. Anyway. So where are we? Okay. We're done with contest. Amendments to Sac City zoning ordinance. Okay, we did that for a while and then now we've got, I think last meeting we all said, well, did we ever get an updated copy then after we made those changes? And I don't think we ever got that far. So everybody should have updated copies now that for the city and God, and Adam generously provided for us, right, Adam?
Sure.
So the only thing in the minutes going back a year was chapter 170. And that was something that we did out of necessity, I think.
Yeah, something about the what do you call it, something.
Subdivision.
Thank you. So we probably should just start going through chapter 1 through 3.
Well, I'd like to make a suggestion.
Fine.
How does anyone feel about, rather than us going through this live right now,
Oh yeah, I don't want to do it
since we're
live.
just getting organized and getting our copies tonight, what if we agree to look over these chapters in sections for next month?
That's what I was, yeah, thinking we do. Yeah,
You know,
that was
I
I'll make a motion.
We already-
I look at 1 through 3, and what is there to change?
It's just.
There is nothing.
Probably
That's
nothing.
why we-
It's
That
just
mostly
the general
definitions.
definitions
We-
and the purpose and the title. That's all there is.
We just skipped, last year, we just skipped to the things that,
we thought needed.
yeah, we sort of reviewed through the things and then said, we talked about the things that we thought could make a difference, or could really be changed. A lot of it's administrative, so.
Okay. Well, I think I kind of got in on the tail end of that last year, I think, when you guys were just starting to make your changes on that one, so I wasn't that familiar with any of that.
I think we actually didn't we make changes twice or 3 times, Adam, that went through the council?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think there were
Yeah.
3 times that it went through the council and got approved. I'm pretty sure.
So do you think we did everything that needed to be done? Maybe we don't need to be wasting our time doing all that?
We actually
you read
asked
some of
that.
Huh?
Have you read some of that?
It's a tough read.
There's a
It's a
lot
tough
of,
read, yeah.
there's a
There's-
lot of stuff.
short
I think it's
Why?
supposed, some of it's supposed to
Yeah.
be like that, though, I think.
There's a lot of stuff in there
Well,
that,
that could mean you're supposed to get a
Like an
3 more
all
stage,
legal
but-
document
Maybe
thing.
I am.
but we focused
Yeah,
on the
one-
things that we thought could make a difference, like the subdivision thing, and then there were some wording in some of the others that we thought wasn't clear, that we can change.
Yeah, it seems like the last incarnation of the commission was just going through and making sure the periods were in the right place and making sure that outdated wording was updated.
Yeah, the only issue that anybody on the board had was the subdivision part. They thought it could make it more, somebody moving into the community, it would be more receptive to doing that. It was spelled out that there was opportunity for them to negotiate with the city.
Yeah.
Well, so then, I don't quite remember if it was Adam's suggestion or if it was just the thing you guys were doing. Can someone refresh my memory if what the point was just to go through them, just go through all of them and make sure we like it all? Is that what the purpose of
The
it was?
purpose was to update everything according to what we were doing currently. And if there was anything major in there that we saw that we thought that was either extraneous and shouldn't be in there, because the initial idea was that they thought there was probably some things in the ordinances that maybe shouldn't be in there. They were too restrictive, do you know what I mean? But we really, once we went through it, we didn't really find that. And that was our original purpose, was could we loosen up some things to make it easier for people? But we really didn't find anything.
Some of it was just about moving punctuation around,
Mhm. There was a lot of that.
yeah.
That was, one member.
Yeah.
So-
Well, the structure of the
So do you have to
sentence,
recall
we
this?
didn't-
Did you go through the entire,
We went through,
because I could only find reference to chapter 170 in the minutes.
There were several sections.
no, what we did was break it apart, and every time we reviewed another few pages or another part of a chapter, and we basically went through the thing, because there wasn't, honestly, I don't think we went through all the addendums and all that, we just went through the
Okay,
basic.
like right now, I'm looking for
In
this.
May, we did
And I
chapter
cannot-
146.
Okay.
We did
And
149.
in April, we did 149.
So it was like,
Yeah,
and
mine's
then when we
149.
finished, yeah, and that's not saying that there still isn't something there, but that's just our purpose was to actually look and see if we could loosen up any of the restrictions that were on it, or if there was something that really should be changed, and the subdivision was one of the things we thought should give if somebody came in to build something, there should be something where they could,
It'd be easier.
easier
It's
for them
not-
to negotiate with the structure that has to be there in order for them to build, so. And because it wasn't before it said they had to provide it. So
I did what?
they had to provide all the
Oh.
basically pay for the infrastructure to build there. So we thought they should be able to negotiate that.
Okay.
But all the other things were.
Overall, the changes were pretty
They were minor.
small.
Yeah, they were minor.
Well, good, we don't have to do that then, we're done with it.
Unless somebody, I mean, I don't think it hurts to probably sit down and, for us to look
We
at
should
them
read
and
it.
see if there's something
Well-
more. I mean, we have a lot of different people on it now, so they may see something that
Yeah.
we didn't see that they think should be changed, or
What do
a
you think,
different
Susan?
viewpoint.
I think the fence part in the building code, every time I put up a fence, I go home and drink because it's ridiculously written. It confuses me. It's confusing the way it's written. I'll give you an example. Here it is. Section C says fences, walls, hedges.
220?
2-02.06.
Okay, what is
You folks have a good night.
Hey, have a
Thanks,
good
Adam.
one.
Thank you for coming.
06, okay.
Yep, just ask,
Fences, wall, hedges,
Edie
and
tomorrow.
trees.
tell her I said it's okay.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
I'm almost there.
Okay, I mean, you can even start by looking at B, no fence, wall, hedge, more than 30% solid. I mean, what does that even mean? How is that measurable? And what's the yardstick to figure that out?
Okay, where's that at?
I certainly.
Okay, well,
Page
then,
220.
02 dash 02, yeah, oh yeah,
I'm gonna be on the
two
office.
dot 22, 220.
2.02.06?
That's
or
the
07?
paragraph.
Oh, okay.
That's the page is 2.0.
Oh,
That's entitled fences, walls, hedges, and trees.
well, I think it's confusing, because why can't we just have normal page numbers? A lot
Yeah,
easier.
that'd be a massive undertaking.
Jeez, okay.
Not worth redoing it for that.
Fences,
No.
walls, hedges, and.
I've just
Okay,
figured out
walls,
where most of
hedges and
this is.
trees are,
Most. I don't see a place either for swimming pools, if we're supposed to have a building permit for that.
2.2.
well, good, I wrote the only.
Is the page number. Back in
2.20.
We'll have an instruction class on how to find things in our manual.
those are kind of page numbers.
Yeah, so
I
it's
know.
20, it's
They
chapter
are.
2.
They did something.
Page 20.
Put a dot in the middle of them. It's crazy.
It's weird.
Are recorded in all districts in accordance with the following provisions.
I mean, you
So
start
do we
with-
need a motion to put that on
Fence,
next month's
wall,
agenda, or can you just do it? So we can start looking at that.
Yeah.
Well, we
Yeah,
have
just
it
why don't-
already on
Why don't
the-
we look at that and see if anybody else is confused as I am when I look at it? I mean,
Of any intersection?
it could be written better. I mean, okay, A, that makes sense.
Well, we want you to be able to enforce it, so
Well, yeah,
literally, I
it's-
mean, if you don't understand what
Yeah.
it means, then we need to
Yeah.
rewrite
That's
it.
true.
So,
But it's always been a section that's just kind of like writing. I mean, because a couple of them, like C and D seem like they conflict with each other. And we don't have to do it tonight, but I mean, in B,
we could just put
B,
it on the
the
agenda for
20
next.
20
Put it on
feet
the
from the
next
intersection.
agenda.
Just one thing I find about Gary.
And if you have other things that you want us to look at.
Yeah, do you
then
have any
should
other?
tell us
And
that.
then,
Well,
shouldn't we have to have a building permit for a city, for a swimming pool?
We don't?
I don't think that we do. There's a section, but I've seen nothing on how much it would cost or whatever. Someone asked me about one, I'm aware somebody else put one up, but then it goes into this part about temporary.
We'll find it.
I didn't even realize.
Above ground ones.
Yeah,
Don't we see
but
that?
I don't see anything in here about having to have a building permit for one. I don't know if it's because they're, mostly what we have is temporary, but it doesn't say,
But would you need a permit to like dig a pool, but if you're just putting
yeah,
on
well,
top of the ground
I haven't
pool?
read that either. I haven't seen anything in here about
Oh.
that.
So what you're suggesting is we may have to create
Yeah,
rules for
Create
Pools.
rules for,
pools.
all right.
and just fences and pools, look at that and we'll talk
Okay.
about it.
You know,
I
we have
suppose
any
that
bodies
B
Region
has to
12?
do with like, so you can, like if it's at an intersection, so you can see.
See, B, I agree with that last part. I get that, no more than 3 feet high within 20 feet of an intersection. But what's that? No fence, wall, hedge should be more than 30% solid. What is
Probably
that?
thickness.
I mean, well, 30% solid? I mean, what is the yardstick to
It
measure
means you
that?
have, yeah.
It means you can't have,
30%?
It can't be a solid wall, you have to be able to see through it.
How do
Yeah.
you measure
I get
that?
that, but I don't know how, yeah. If somebody
There's
argued
no
with
yard-
you,
yeah.
how would
Well, you
you?
may be able to see through it today, and when it leaks out, you can't see through it.
Yeah.
Wind blows or, yeah, whatever. That just needs to go. I mean,
It needs to be,
It-
there
or-
needs
or
to be
differently
something
worded.
measurable.
yeah, and then you got the next two that are just, it doesn't really say where it can be, honestly. And it goes from, oh, I'll just read it, unless we're in a hurry. The fences, walls, or hedges less than 4 feet high may be located on any remaining part of the lot. To me, that right there says that anywhere on the lot.
Yeah.
Remaining, the house,
Any remaining
anywhere with the house
part
or
of
whatever
the
it is,
lot.
okay. Then you move on to D, fences, walls, hedges less than 6 feet high may be erected on those parts of lots that are as far back from the street than the main building or structure, higher fences, and then I get the next part, but why do we even need anything about some other fence?
I don't know, who wrote this in the first place?
When I read that, I'm just confused. Okay, I'm seeing that this is trying to address
C and
something
D
that's
are-
between 4 and 5, or 4 and
6
6.
feet.
But say
But
may be
it's not
erected on
clear
those
either.
parts of the lot that are as far back or further back from the street than the main building. Honestly.
do we need a motion?
You know what, I just go out and I say, look, I guess according to this one here, it can just be on your lot anywhere, just, my advice is don't put it on the line, because you don't know if you're gonna get along with your neighbor 10 years from now, and they're gonna say, no, you can't work
Or
on your
have a
fence.
designation, it has to be so far from the property line or whatever.
I just tell them, well, it says right here, and any,
It can be anywhere.
I just say, you better make sure you can be on that other side of the fence working on it, because if your neighbor says, well, I want you staying on my property, and you put
You
it
can't.
right on the property line, then you're gonna have to pull your fence out, so. It just didn't make, it's,
Yeah.
But how do you deal with those that are real close to the property line that have been there for years?
you know, if you drive around town and look at some of the things that are out, there's a lot of rules
Already
were,
that
and
are
it-
different.
this, I mean, and some of this is written to be openly interpreted. You know, to where you know, because we want to help people put things up.
You don't
I
want
think.
it to be
I don't think
too
we want.
restrictive.
Yeah, I think that we should be able, you know, we should be looking to go around anytime somebody wants to improve the city. We shouldn't be fighting them. But I mean, that's the goal, I think.
But there has to be some parameter.
Yeah, there has to be.
Because otherwise you have
And
problems.
I think in that happening, you've had multiple people who've been planning and zoning administrators, and what this means, you know, I mean, it's just like religion. What's this to you is that certainly don't mean that to me. So I think due to having different people, you've had different interpretations of what this says, because it's open, it's written to be kind of ambiguous, that's why you have it, because there's some things that I'd look at, wow, that ain't even legit, but that's kind of the nature of the beast with it, I think.
Anything
Okay,
else that you
fine.
I have nothing else.
have encountered in here that you couldn't figure out or
No, those two,
didn't make sense?
that's pretty much it.
All the building
Fences have
stuff,
just
no
been-
problem?
I think it's probably good.
So next month then we'll bash out the.
If I had a really big map to show where everything exactly is, that would be awesome.
Does the city have that?
I don't know, I think they do. I don't think it's that good.
That
I
would
think
be a
some-
good use
I think-
for their color ink.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna back off that. I don't need it.
What
I think
does-
we're getting by, you know what? Things are going pretty good, I think.
City map.
With all
And you
the-
say a really big
All the
map showing where
color.
everything is, what is it,
Exactly.
property lines?
Yeah, no, not property lines, but like zones,
The zoning.
zoning. map.
We made one of those. Well, not we.
Well,
The
Mine,
commission made
I'm
one.
getting up there and I can't read that. I mean, the street signs are like that big. Yeah,
Yeah, there is one,
I'm sorry.
it's little.
It is little. I don't even think it's in there. I think it's in my
I think I
truck.
left my other
You
book
really
at home.
should
They
have
got all
a
that in
wall
it. It's
map.
not this one, it's the
I think there
other
is
one.
one roughly in there. but
Oh, I was gonna
some
say,
of it-
Arnie usually has his book and it's, he
I think
has one
some
in
of
there.
it conflicted,
I
yes.
left mine at
Yeah.
home.
I think some of it on that little map conflicts with the other one, but I could be wrong.
So would this map, this would not be a satellite map, you'd want just a street map, so that
Yeah.
you, and then
I'm
have, it
just
would
being
have the zones.
sarcastic, I figured it out. I'm not even serious. I just work with
Because
it.
I'm just thinking, I could create that, that'd be pretty easy.
So you can't read the street names in there.
Yeah.
Mine's less than that. It's
Worse than that.
I don't particularly. get that excited about it. I mean,
Well, that one meeting, we were trying to figure out whether that one place was.
yeah, I think that's
how
what's
it
hanging
was
on the
sold.
wall in
Where
there.
did you get that?
That's nice.
It's
Just
just hanging out in the back of this
Huh?
notebook.
Oh, it's in the back
That's
of,
pretty nice. That's what's actually in,
where?
I think a big one
Your
is hanging
brown.
in the council room.
You need it, you do.
Oh, thanks.
There you go.
Merry
See,
Christmas.
we answer all your
Can you,
prayers.
can you
don't
take
we?
some of these colored pencils?
And these colored
I have
ones?
kids with crayons.
So when somebody says, hey, that wasn't supposed to be put up there, I go, well, yeah, he went outside the lines.
They
Orange's
don't
grandson went
stay outside the lines very
Yeah.
well.
Well,
Now, this is
you
really-
say you're being sarcastic, but, you know, I could take a really big picture of that and put the colors on there and make something that's suitable, print out in poster size.
Good, that'd be awesome. It would be nice.
Because we were trying
I
to
like
figure
that.
out one
Megapixel camera.
property and we couldn't figure it
Oh,
out.
yeah, it's-
Do you remember that? It was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it was,
Yeah,
you couldn't figure out whether.
there's been a couple times and it's gonna be
My-
awesome.
my only
I'm gonna be
question
honest,
is-
some people get pretty butthurt over
Does this old
somebody putting
map
up
that's,
something that wasn't supposed to be there.
my only question is, does this old map that's turning yellow match the thing that they passed a few years ago?
That's what I got right there.
Yeah. Which is
That's exactly what I got.
difficult to read.
Can I-
What about just that
That's
blown up?
09.
Can I see this?
We should
Yeah.
have one hung up every time we have a meeting.
Could you blow it out?
See, that's where I'm at, that's what I got.
Not as
That's
details.
exactly what's in my truck.
Oh, okay, so they are readable as long as you
You got a
can.
magnifying glass.
Yeah, okay.
Electron.
So this could be blown up
Could be.
Yeah.
for you. You can,
This one you got me is really
it
nice.
would cost us $40 or something to make a poster out of it, but we could,
I don't think I'd do that.
I'm just saying we could.
That's a meal account.
If it's a tool.
It's not that big a fight, really. I mean, it's what do we get, like 30, 40 building permits a year?
Well, we could get you $3 magnifying glass.
It is.
There you go.
I can do that.
It is kind of nice if you can tell where the boundaries
Know where
are.
the boundaries
Yeah, that is,
I mean,
I think this here will work a lot better than what I got. I like that.
Does that match our,
That's
that
the
one?
date on that thing.
Oh, 93.
Okay, so no.
So you don't want the 1977 map.
That's probably worth mine. That's cool.
It might be, yeah, might be increasing in value.
So when was that other one passed?
The other one was passed in 2009.
Yeah, it's probably different.
November.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
now
it
it's
was-
different.
It was significant. They made a lot of changes there.
I
Yeah.
can see it, I can see it already.
You're like, oh, that's not gonna work.
I think we're fine.
All right.
Moving along.
Okay, so we're gonna work on that and we'll come back.
We
to
put
our
that
next
on the
meeting.
agenda next time?
Yeah.
Okay. And you might just want to thumb through the rest and see if there's something else. We did that before, but different people looking at it.
New business, establishment of Facebook page, and that's when you established kind of with our contest, right?
Right, well, I just wanted to let the board know, in the contest, we determined that we needed some other ways of contacting the public, or being available to the public, so I created a Facebook page and I gave us an official email, so that,
Wow. We're
So-
like official then.
well, no, not official. Actually, what we'd be doing is voting to ratify that these things are
These
gonna be
things
our
are
official.
gonna be our official.
Right. The Facebook would just be, you know, an easy way to get out announcements. There's already 36, whatever, so we already have control of it. The email is just because I realized as I was writing my first email that I didn't want my SAC News email to be part of the, be subject to record searches. So I established another one just to use as planning and zoning. And that was the only business that's been done in there so far is to contact Steve Irwin about the, with the SCF and Brandy about Chambers involvement.
Do you have those addresses?
Yeah.
Because they're somewhere.
I did email them to you.
Yeah, but they're somewhere lost in email la la land where I can't get to them now. I don't have them, I should have printed them probably back then. I was like, where is my email?
So I've got some stuff. I'm not sure how we pass the passwords around without it being part of the record. I suppose just one person at a time. I don't know. Sac City Planning and Zoning, all one word, and spelled out, Sac City Planning and Zoning @gmail.com. And Planning and Zoning Facebook is at SAC, okay, it's gonna be facebook.com, SAC PANDZ, P&Z, SAC PNZ.
Oh, P-A-N, I was like, what is that?
P
Okay, I
and?
get it. P-and-A-N-D-Z.
Mhm.
Okay, got it.
P-N-Z. Oh my God.
And I suppose we all are, anyone who's got a Facebook and wants to, we'll all be administrators on the page, so we can all make changes and posts. Or it can be up to us to give it to Mickey or a designated person to run that.
No,
I think that's the decision we need to we need to figure out how to run these tonight if we're gonna adopt them as official.
What was the Facebook one again? Facebook?
.com / SACPNZ.
Okay.
SACPANDZ.
Okay, I got that right.
Okay.
Thanks for all your work that you're doing on this stuff.
Well,
So I've never administered, how much work is that, Curtis? Just so we know, what is it, what are we talking?
well,
I mean,
have you ever?
I've never established a Facebook page except my own. So-
It's basically, the page is basically as busy as we want it to be. We can post every single one of our documents and records that we post on there, so that if anyone makes a request, we can just refer them. Or they can just come look at it voluntarily without having to make a request. Or we can just strictly control the message and put up just press releases or anything in between, 10 times a day or once a month or whatever we want to do. Would probably be included in all of our, anything official that we do put out to try and encourage people to go there.
To go in. But there should be something there if we're gonna encourage them to go
Yeah.
along.
Just
So,
find something.
you know, it's
There
like,
is, yeah.
yeah.
And then for the record, it allows us to have a way to boost posts out to people so that we can create a little bit of viralness with any messages we have if we chose to spend money on that kind of thing. Not that I'm saying we should, just that it would be available to us just like any other advertising venue. People are able to see it without having a Facebook page, talking about Facebook now, but they aren't able to interact unless they establish one.
They can't comment or do anything.
They can't comment or do anything unless they have a Facebook.
And is this,
And we
is
can
this a
con-
fan page or is this a? I know
I
that
guess
we have ours set up as at the chamber as a fan page, which then you can see how many people,
At the chamber, you actually have it set up as a person.
no, we changed it.
Oh, you
It's a-
changed it.
It's a
okay.
fan page.
Okay, it's a fan page.
So we can go in and get statistics now and
Mhm.
all of that stuff. Is that what
Yep.
this
Yeah,
is?
That's exactly what it is.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just learning
So I
about all that
invited,
stuff.
I invited the people that I knew were on,
I'm way behind on all this stuff.
You can just go like, I got our city TV
you got it up and showing here?
there. Yeah.
It
I mean,
just
I go
looks
right
like
on there
this.
and
Yeah.
I can now, that's a little bit, yeah, it's a little better on a computer. That's cool.
But Facebook allows us to be on mobile devices very easily.
Yeah.
You don't have to make any changes or
I got
program an app to make it happen.
My phone, I can just switch right over, just hit a button, I'm instantly controlling the PDs.
Mhm.
Just go right back. And tell me,
Cool. Yeah, I didn't know, I know we just switched ours, so I didn't know what that all meant and how, we just did it, so, but now I know we can see statistics on how many people go to the page and all that kind of stuff, which is beneficial to us.
Yep.
So I'm just learning about all this stuff, so.
Well, and we're at 38 likes right now. That means we're able ourselves to see all of our own insights.
Are 38 likes?
Yep.
Wow.
We got 38 likes on the first day.
So, yeah. So that's why I asked if it was a fan page, because then you can see how many people have seen it, so,
Do
We have 0 engagement right now, but we've only put out one thing.
one thing.
Do we have any dislikes? Do you have those?
You can't, no.
Well,
You can only-
the police
you can
department's
only get
got
likes.
some of them.
You can get dislikes.
Yeah, we got boot people
You
once.
get
in a-
Okay.
Okay, then, I don't wanna make any motions if I'm the one.
No, I would move that we have, that, okay, so I guess we could do it all in one motion? Should we do it that way?
Sure.
Okay, so I would move that we establish the Facebook page of SAC P&Z and the email of sacityplanningandzoning@gmail.com to be our official, what do you want to call them? Organizational information, I don't know, how am I, I'm trying to put it for Frank so he
Facebook
can.
page and email.
Facebook page and email.
Yeah, we'll just
Does
call it
that make sense?
Yeah.
And that we, that Curtis has volunteered and we agree that he could administer those, both of those entities. That make sense?
Mhm.
I'll second.
Do we want to talk about, after that, about what that means?
Yes.
Let's establish them first and then we'll talk about what we'll give them the power to do. Do you know what I mean? And he seconded.
Yeah.
So we just need to vote.
All in favor?
Right.
All opposed?
So then, I guess you need
Okay,
to know what.
let me do some scenarios.
Okay.
A woman approaches me and says, what the hell's going on? How come Stacy is making this decision as opposed, with my property? Are we treating that as just input and then talking about it at the board and I'm not answering her? I hope
Or
that's the answer.
somebody comments on the
Right,
thing and
well, if
wants
we're
to
gonna
know
start,
why.
if we're gonna start being
Yep.
social,
I would think if it was something that I wasn't, I mean, her and I weren't agreeing on, you would just invite her to come to our meeting.
Mhm.
Say,
That would be the,
Yeah, it'd be a place to discuss.
okay.
when it's a particular
So,
thing.
so if there's a complaint, take it in, make the board aware of it, invite them to the meeting, and take no other action. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But you
And
also-
that's,
Because you don't
that's what I
wanna
would
take-
like to do.
Yeah, you shouldn't take public action on
Right.
a private, I mean, not private, but an
Sure.
individual.
We could just
Okay.
respond that the board will address the issue at the next meeting.
And
Yeah.
we
For a
invite
response,
you
so
to-
that we're
Yep.
If she already hasn't talked to Stacy,
Yeah.
she might as well go talk to him instead
Yeah.
of,
So,
You don't want to get too
instead of just
personal.
venting.
okay,
No.
so.
Okay, so
you have another-
that sort of covers all that scenario.
Okay, anything else, other scenarios? The comment where somebody has something in particular, how about general comments?
Well, we really don't, it's been my experience that you don't want to, you want to, sorry about all the staring.
I mean, do we want to acknowledge
Get on
them?
with
a
it.
I've got
comment, or-
I've got a personal policy. I've got a policy with the Sac News Corporation that comments that are off-topic, sexually graphic, or abusive are hidden. But I'm a lot more liberal about comments than other people might be. We can delete them, those three states of comments, and kind of let everything else go. There's kind of a, we don't, in social networks, you don't want to be too heavy-handed.
Oh, I agree. I don't think you don't, it should be censored, but
Right.
when it's
But
not,
if it's off-topic,
something
if it's
off
abuse, or if it's something graphic, that's
graphic
not,
that's
not legitimate.
we're not legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I just basically. ban
And
people
off-topic
from
catches a
this.
lot of that.
Okay.
You can really get a lot with off-topic. You can
But
say,
you want people to feel like they can make a comment, that's why
Right.
we're doing it, otherwise we're wasting our time.
right.
So, I don't think we should be too restrictive.
And there's a certain amount of abuse that we personally should let go because we're public figures
People are gonna have to have their opinions,
about
and they're
us.
entitled to those.
I mean, kind of the rule of thumb is you can say that a public figure eats babies. And then you only just have to prove that you didn't know it was true.
Well, I think I mean, I've been in lots of positions where
I
you
don't know,
have
I
thick
don't know how
skin,
abusive
so it doesn't-
anything's ever gonna get.
Yeah,
I mean, we might have a crank once in a while,
okay.
okay?
So general comments. just
Okay.
Just roll.
Well, I'll just, I'll feel my way through it, and if you guys review it and see something that that you think is entirely inappropriate that I'm letting go, please do give me input. Then as far as posting goes,
So
we
are we gonna-
want to stay at the top of people's minds, but not annoying.
Right,
So-
you don't wanna pop up every day. That is annoying. But you, to show that we're doing something, it would be nice to have, you know, but we also have to have something to talk about. I mean, it has to
We
be
probably want
some
our
context.
minutes, we probably want our agendas.
Our minutes, agendas, those things. That's what's my next question is, all, if we, can we?
How open do we want to be? Do we want to put what steps we're on? Because I'm going to do it on SAC News, but does the page want to do what steps we're on towards pursuing properties?
I don't know about that either, because then some people
Well, great work.
might not like that.
Yeah, I know. Well, we don't have to. We can
That's,
just,
but those are the questions that I usually get.
Well, you could use maybe general terminology about what we were doing, but not specific properties.
well, it'd just be, the minutes then would sort of
Yeah.
cover that.
Yeah,
So that'd be covered in
I mean, they
posting.
know what we're doing.
Zoning applications
Because it is the question that I get the most.
on there.
Oh,
Somebody will ask
Yeah.
about a property, or ask what we're doing with some of the properties, or why aren't you doing something about the
And that
property?
may be some of the comments we'll get, what about
Yeah,
the property?
what about the
Easy
property
way
here,
for
which
it to
we
get
could.
Yeah.
If they know it
find
exists.
That's another
Like
aspect
they
of
can
this. I
copy
mean,
it from there and fill
the
it
world
out.
is really
Be a
kind of
good
open
idea.
to us.
Yeah.
We can say, do you have an issue to report?
Mhm.
Exactly.
PM us,
Yeah, what is the
Yeah.
issue?
and it'll be on the next meeting if the chairman thinks it's valid or whatever.
If we can put the zoning applications on there,
We can put the zoning applications on
That'd be a
there.
good
so they
idea.
can fill them
We
out,
can put the
That is
zoning
a
laws
great
on
idea.
there.
not showing up at his doorstep.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
actually show up at
Yeah,
your
people show up.
doorstep to
People
get
show up.
an
People
application.
show up.
And maybe
Not every
things
Windows
like,
vendors.
you know, in spring and
show up
summer when we're doing it, maybe we can
complaining.
just put sections in there to help people, like the fence thing, when we
You need a
rewrite
sign
the
that
fence
says
thing.
Complaints not
You
taken.
could put that on there, because people,
That-
people don't
because
wanna read all
confusing.
this.
Yeah, we can say, yeah.
But
Yep.
there are a couple things.
We can say
like
we
a
just
deck,
rewrote the fence
Or
law.
people are gonna put on a deck, they're gonna build a fence, they're gonna, you know, and make it the simple things so that they don't have to go figure that all out. It
Yeah.
could be, we could provide them some assistance also.
That's a good idea.
I'll,
I
as
don't
an
know.
administrator, then
Reporting
I'll,
on advertising. Hey, it's fence season.
We
Been
want you
putting
to,
off that day,
so,
get your application.
get your application in, Stacy will come visit you.
do we want to accept applications this way?
No, I don't think so.
Because I
I
can,
go
give
down
you-
almost-
'cause I can give you the,
That's
I can
what
give you
the
access
city
to the
anyway, doesn't it?
email, and you can just email a
So we
PDF
shouldn't
in.
really.
We
Would
could,
that be
we could
easier?
create an
No,
electronic
'cause I
document.
can- I go in there all the time. Yeah, if it's-
But that
I'm gonna-
would that be easier for you?
That'd be,
Yeah. Because
no, because I go in there, it'd be
we
no
have a
easier.
certain amount of people that
Um,
don't
Oh,
have.
it'd be easier for them.
either.
I don't know.
I have to have,
I don't know if it'd be
I
easier.
have
for
to have a
them.
paper copy regardless, so I'm gonna have to print it out anyway, so.
But it would be,
For those that want to do it.
it would be an
Yeah.
interactivity.
Yeah.
It would be,
Always be another way for them to interact with the site, which is a good thing.
Yeah. I think that over.
You'll also have a certain amount of people probably that do not have computer
Computers,
access.
sure.
I mean, some of them would come up to the library, but
sure.
you know what?
The
If
way
they
I,
have it available just for those that want to download it, and then
It could be
It goes-
made available.
the way I would envision it interacting with the Facebook page is that we would have a permanent link to the city's website where there's a place they can submit. They've already got the stuff in place to submit emails there. So it's the same step,
They
just to
can't-
submit
They
it.
can't, you know, planning and zoning, they can't do the application
Oh.
online, I don't think. They have to take it down.
Yeah.
It probably has to be signed.
What do you got?
I think they have to take it in.
Okay.
I
Can we do
couldn't
digital
it online.
signatures?
Okay.
But it's been a
So,
while.
so we
since I
could just
did
make,
that.
we can just make it
Yeah.
available to them to download.
They have to pay the fee when they turn it in.
Okay.
Cause you can't apply, you can't, or at least when I did mine, I had to draw the
Right
thing
there
on
on our
there
block.
and all of
Right
that.
right there before you get your fifth.
Can we accept digital signatures on
It has been.
Company, no.
It has been.
I would say no, they're not even, they don't even have a S.
You just
Yeah,
have
I
the
think that's
application
good
right
too.
there.
I think if you have the application, it gives it, it's a you're at least providing them an easy way to get it,
Yeah.
instead of trying to figure out where else
So
it
where
would
to
be.
go and when I can get there. and
I don't even know if
figure
it's
out
on the
that-
city website, I'd have to look to see.
It would have to be put there. It would just, and it would just be a place to host it. It wouldn't matter how functional the city website is, we just need an address.
If there was a way they could submit them down there to Annette, I mean, she could just copy them off. And it'd be about the
We
same
were
as-
just talking about
about
that.
the same as what we do now. I mean, other than they dropped off, there's a way they could just,
Do it.
I mean, they could email it to her or whatever, or,
Except for
For
do they
the
always have to
money.
pay a fee?
yeah, they do have to pay a
See,
fee.
so they-
I collect the fee though.
Oh, you do?
When I go out,
When
I
you go-
collect the fee
Oh,
and
Oh,
then
they
I.
turn it in and you go
Oh,
collect
They,
it.
then
what they do,
that's
So you
basically
could
what they do,
submit-
they go down, they either come and find me and I give them a blank permit, or they go down and pick it up, they fill it all out, they bring it back, I have a box down there. About once every couple days I go in, have coffee or whatever, pick up my stuff, see what I got, and then I go out and talk to them, grab the money, bring it
Makes
back
it
down to
easier.
the receipt. Yeah.
I would think it could make it easier for them if they could submit it electronically, and if you have to pick it up anyway.
Well, it could just be done as an email too.
Mhm.
Yes.
And as far as the picture goes, I mean, I don't know. You know, if I were doing it, I would just break out paint and plop a square.
Yeah,
on
you
there.
would. I would draw the picture.
So then you'd have to scan to turn that in. If you're
I
hand
do,
drawing.
I could do
picture.
that. I do that part, so I
Some
I
people
think that
draw
could
in,
be-
some don't, I mean.
Yeah. Some want you to just come and say, I'm
When
gonna
I-
do this.
There's been some people that want me to fill it out for them, but you don't understand how this process works.
Yeah, that'd be your job. Part of the job, my job is
I'm not
to
building
come and
it.
look at it, yeah.
Those are mostly my friends.
Well, but, and there's,
Fill one of them out
there
for
might
me,
be
will ya?
some people who don't know really
Let me define
what to do,
application.
you know.
Okay, so,
Does that give you enough
yeah, that
sort
gives
of
me-
guidelines?
yeah, and then I'll just come back to the board every month and we'll review what's going on administratively with the thing and see if changes need to be made.
Should we start and adjust from there?
I
Work
think
it out
that's
over
gonna be
time,
great,
how it works.
honestly, I think that's gonna be easy, it's gonna make it easier.
Most people probably don't even know we exist.
Yeah,
Around
the
the-
application
Yeah.
thing
Covers
would make it
95%
more,
of the town.
Yep.
we'll know that we exist, so I think that's
I can't see
great.
that many people even going
Yeah.
there, but maybe they will eventually.
Well, we had 13 people engaged on our April 24 post.
What was that post?
That was our simultaneous posting of the
Contest?
Of the
of the
contest.
contest.
Okay.
And they commented?
Nobody commented.
Oh,
4
I
people
feel
did
like
share
It'll
it.
mostly be probably used for people to get billing permits and complaints. So it'll be-
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get, so, but
See,
It was good.
if it makes it easier for them, then we provided a service for them.
Yeah.
I say we're not trying.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
it's free.
Yeah.
It's social and you don't have to pay money to have a website run. And
Okay.
it isn't hard to navigate the way that the city website is.
I do like our city, yeah, our city site. At least we got our ordinance up there. A lot of towns don't.
Oh, the ordinance that's up there is very out of date.
I know, I've noticed. I've been on the back,
Yeah.
I've been on the embarrassing side of that a
Yeah.
couple times.
Okay.
Oh, so you're saying you
We
can't
good
be
vote?
burning right
We
now?
got any other discussion on it?
Yeah.
I think we got it covered, don't we?
Yep.
So will this site go up better than the healthcare
I
site?
guess
I don't know
then.
what you're talking about. Oh, yeah.
Is there any other business then?
No other
The-
business?
Let me take.
Motion to adjourn?
Yep.
Second?
That was easy. All in favor? Aye.